How about Trump and Zelensky?
Wow, fuck.
We have that as a current event too.
I didn't.
We could pull it up now.
Yeah, let's pull it up. Let's go to current
rough.
events. Let's see what we got.
JD Vance?
I didn't like it.
I did.
You did?
I did.
How long you want
to bend the knee? How long are we going to keep sending money to them? And then he's fighting a war he can't win. And Trump's like, dude, show a little respect. We're helping you out. He's like, well, you're going to be the one. And he goes, hold up. We're going to be the one? It's us?
Here's
like this is why the confrontation probably didn't need to happen on national TV. But what I do like is, all right, those days of Biden and fucking Kamala Harris bending the knee and you fucking us over are done. Those days are done. Could he have handled it different? Yeah, but what I do like is he's America first and cut the shit.
So my feeling.
This is what I voted for, to be honest.
Yeah,
this exact thing.
So there are I have two reactions. They're mixed. My first reaction is I don't like seeing a world leader who's already got his back to the wall, who's been invaded by Russia. I have no love for Russia, but he's been invaded by Russia, and I don't. And a lot of Ukrainians have died, and
that's what Trump says. How many have to keep dying?
And he is in a very hard place, Zelensky, and I'll tell you why. One is I don't like him seeing a world leader get humiliated like that. Why don't you say thank you? Why are you not wearing a suit? All that stuff. Part of the reason he doesn't wear a suit is because he's at war and it's like a camaraderie thing. In Ukraine.
He wants to look like him.
The mistake he made was
was
going there when he doesn't speak English fluently either. It's very, very awkward. But more importantly, I think that he said thanks many times to the United States, many times.
During the Biden campaign?
No, he's been saying he's always been thankful to the United States because he knows that, believe me, he has. And the Ukrainians have always said this. But let me just go through what I don't like spectacle. I don't like seeing somebody, but having said that,
but I think it sets a good standard. It's the
first time we've ever, and this is historical, we have never seen a leader, an American leader, speak the way he's thinking. That's what's really going on in negotiations when it comes down to it. But he let us know. He goes, I want the American people to see this transparency. That meeting was over an hour. For the most part, it was pretty civil.
Yes.
It was civil.
JD
Vance is the guy who started stirring the pot. Vance knows how to play Trump a little bit. Yeah, he knows how to play Trump
2028. This is why he's VP.
Well, Vance
he's like, you need to be grateful. I was like, whoa.
Vance is an isolationist. But my feeling is this. I don't know that the United States not taking on Russia is a good. Russia's very expansive. Russia did this, what they did to Chechnya, what they did to Georgia. You can ask Russia's neighbors what it's like to be, it's not fun.
So we're supposed to
so part of it, what I like is
a losing war.
Well, first of all, the other thing is this. I think that Trump is the first leader I've ever seen who's bullied someone into a peace deal.
That's all he wants.
So you see, so let's keep this in mind. Trump is actually saying, look, we can drag this out the way Biden did and everybody else. We can do this. We can do it with the United Nations, with Europe and everything else. We can bleed the Russians dry. We could keep arming you. In fact, we could arm you really, really well. And there are two options here. We could say, Ukraine, you get whatever you want. Now the Russians will just keep throwing bodies there. And you keep coming back, and Russians. And you keep coming back to Putin and go, had enough yet? Had enough yet? That'll cost you, in Russian lives alone, I will guarantee that would cost you at least 500,000 more lives.
Yes.
The Russians have no problem with that.
Of course.
And countless Ukrainian lives and countless destruction on both sides. Or you say to Zelensky, listen, the Donbass region, which has always been Russian, certainly all Russian speaking, and Crimea, which has already been there since 2014, you got to give up some territory. Yes, Russian rolled in, but you got to give up some territory. You don't have all the cards.
Yes.
It is the way it is, and we will guarantee from there your safety. Now, Trump wants those mineral rights. Think about Zelensky. He's got to go back to his people and say, hey, guys, we are indebted to the United States for at least the next 10 years, 10 generations. I did that. And it's a real hard place for him to be. So I have sympathy for both sides. And I think, but my thing is everybody's like, oh, we're Ukraine. Hey, don't take Russia's side on this either, guys.
But I don't think you're taking Russia's side if you're saying, okay, America needs to stop funding all this. You're not pro-Russia.
This goes back.
You're pro-peace.
It goes back to 1993 when when we looked at Gorbachev, we said to Gorbachev, listen, disarm, we said to Ukraine, if you give us your nuclear weapons, if you disarm, if you tell us where your weapons grade uranium is and your nuclear weapons are, we will ensure, it was called, I think, the Minsk Agreement. We will ensure, we will guarantee that Russia will never invade. Now, Russia said, we'll do that in exchange for you promise that NATO will not expand 1 inch to
Correct.
the east. It's expanded over 1,000 miles.
Yep.
Poland is a NATO member. The next country over is Ukraine. Now, Zelensky and the Ukrainian regime knew
that
said,
was the line.
They said we want NATO membership. Direct provocation. Why did Russia go in there? They have access to one warm water port. You know what warm water means? It's the only port that doesn't freeze over in that area. So you need a port for supplies. You have to if you're Russia. You have to. You cannot give that to Ukraine. So this was a provocation. So that is the idea. That's the pro-Russia side, and it does hold some merit. And you can make the argument that the United States was really doing whatever they could to squeeze Russia, which they did, and they made a lot of money doing it. They gained global hegemony that way, but this is what you get. And in terms of, by the way, people say that we put in a West-friendly government. I would remind people that fucking do your history when Ukraine had a democratically elected pro-Western leader that was democratically elected. What did Putin do? Poison him with dioxin. And you can see his face. Bring him up. Bring up the old leader.
He didn't die?
No, but they tried to kill him. He was a handsome son of a bitch. He won the election, and then the Russian regime poisoned him with dioxin. And you should see what his face looks like. Bring up Ukrainian leader poisoned by dioxin. I can't remember his name. Yushchenko, I think it was, but I can't remember. So I remember that very well.
Dude, how about when Zelensky walks up and Trump goes, oh, you dressed up for it?
Yeah, Yushchenko, there it is. Became the victim of assassination when he was poisoned with dioxin. He suffered a disfigurement as a result. Bring up Yushchenko before and after poisoning. Take a look at this, Bubba. Handsome fuck, and the Russians poisoned him. Why? Because he won an election, and look what they did to him.
Holy shit.
Look at that shit. He walked around like that. Look at his face. That's what they did to his face.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
That's Russia. Look at how handsome that fucker was.
Yeah.
And then look what they did to him. That happened to him in a couple days.
Jesus, dude.
And he said, "Look at my face, guys. That's Russia, guys. That's Russia. So don't tell me that Russia doesn't meddle with with their neighbors' elections or that that guy won democratically. So stop with the idea that we didn't do anything. Russia poisons dissidents. It poisons its own journalists. We know all this. Please.
Yeah, but I don't think it's fair to say you're pro-Russia if you want peace with Ukraine.
No, you're right. Or and Trump wants to make a deal. And to Trump's credit, and the fact of the matter is that there's no deal that's going to happen. They'll be in a stalemate, horrible war that'll last 10 years.
Yeah, and that's how this goes.
How did Biden do? Not too well, did he?
Not too well.
How did every other leader do? Not too well.
Also,
you want United Nations?
I know.
Did they get anything done?
Also,
how'd they do in the Congo?
Also, do we not want a president that's not a warmonger? Like, isn't this what you want?
That's what I like about it.
Yes.
Dude,
when Zelensky walked up the White House and Trump goes, "Oh, you dressed up."
Yeah. Well,
savage.
That's true too.
Savage.
And somebody didn't advise Zelensky. You're there with Trump. You wear a suit.
Yes.
And you don't speak English well enough. You're not eloquent enough. You need an interpreter.
He's going to run circles
don't
around.
do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Go there and say thank you very much. You got to flatter Trump. Trump's pretty easy.
You got to stroke his ego.
If you don't flatter Trump, the minute you piss him off, he's coming after you. And it doesn't matter where it is. He says shit he doesn't even... When he said I called him a dictator, he goes, I did? When? He'll just say stuff.
No, he's just shooting from the hip.
He didn't expect that meeting to turn that way. Trump got mad when he said, you don't know that. Don't tell me that we'll feel, but we're going to be fine.
That's where he fucked up because Americans going to feel? That's when he got mad.
Yeah.
It was like,
what Zelensky was saying,
he goes, you don't have the cards here. You're in no position to say that.
Right. Zelensky was basically saying, if Russia expands, it will be everyone's problem because they'll go into Poland. They'll go into
But JD Vance, that kid in high school, just encouraging.
Dude.
Oh, he's talking about your mama. Oh, he said you're gonna be scared. Oh,
shit.
And then Trump was like, what?
You didn't even wear a suit, bro.
Yeah,
did you say
wear
thanks?
in front of Trump? You didn't wear a suit?
Yeah.
I was like, get him, JD.
JD,
He's hilarious.
He knows how to
dude.
play Donald.
And Trump was like, well, yeah. The other thing.
I heard a lot of conservative pundits talking about how JD Vance might be the Svengali behind this. He's like he's the real.
He's your next president.
He's like the underboss.
He's your next president.
If he's your next president, if the Republicans
Pull this off.
can get
Doge,
this,
Dodge, all that shit.
If they can, if the economy, people give a shit about price of gas.
That's all they care about.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's inflation, all that shit.
Ukraine, whatever. How much is gas and how much is milk and eggs?
Yeah.
Fuck you otherwise.
Yeah.